Hey, welcome to the Kumite.
Shit, you found that on the meme.
I
The
did.
one with the spine and the fire.
Well, yeah. After you mentioned it, I went and looked for it, found it. I also found another one, which I couldn't pass up on.
Oh,
For
was he
some for some reason,
was
it
he
just
popular
spoke to
before any
me.
of this?
No, he was not.
No, this isn't like a big swing of all of a sudden people don't like him.
Well, he wasn't really that famous. I mean, you know, well liked, but he wasn't so well hated. I mean, people didn't like it when he started, cutting the budget to the rural firefighters in the
No,
last
you're
budget.
kidding.
No, he cut the budget to the rural firefighters, and they're like, "Hey, man, because of this, we're not going to be able to afford to do backburning." And he's like, "Well, fuck you." Neck minute during summer, first summer without it, whole fucking country's on flames.
One summer.
Yep. This is what
Lucky
happened after
motherfuckers.
1 year of no backburning. Because he cut the budget to the rural fire service. You guys can hear the
Unfortunate.
fan?
I don't know if they can hear. If they are complaining about anything to do with my audio, just be lucky you're even fucking hearing me. Just feel lucky. Because I'm not fixing shit.
Alright, I made efforts.
Okay. Oh, the big graffiti thing that everybody's been sharing around, the Merry Crisis thing. Yeah, they're definitely going over that.
The Mary what's the thing?
The Merry Crisis mural that was put up that had your prime minister on it. They're overpainting that now.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You've never seen that one.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Well, that that happened because these bushfires, they've been going on for a while.
Yeah, I remember when they started. It wasn't nearly as big of a deal back when it first started, but I remember it happening.
Well, so do I, because my town was one of the first towns to be on fucking fire, and I was complaining to you guys about it, because my fucking house was full of smoke and I was getting headaches and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, half my town's on fire, it's not great. But it got worse and worse, and this motherfucker is like, yeah, Merry Christmas. By the way, I'm going on vacation to Hawaii.
Did he make anybody? I don't know. Make any kind of pleased anybody before, like any kind of announcements or any like, or is it just this shit happened and then he's gone and you haven't heard from him since?
Oh, we've heard from him since.
Okay.
But
And what'd he
yeah,
say?
he's just like, oh, by the way, I'm going on vacation to Hawaii. Bye. Like the meme on the left, that's pretty accurate. Both of these memes are very accurate.
And so has he talked about firefighters a lot in the past year, and then this happened?
He hasn't talked about much, to my knowledge. I mean, he was criticized for cutting the budget, and he's like, nah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And, yeah, there is, the firefighters, they weren't fucking happy with him.
How long has he been in office?
Too long.
Too long. Is he like a new guy in there? Or has he been there for a fucking minute?
Uh, he's been around for at least, what, year or two? But, yeah, the fucking firefighters, they've been pissed off with him ever since he did the budget thing. See, I'm looking at a clip right now, and it's called An Awkward Moment. A Firefighter Refuses to Shake Hands with Scott Morrison. So, Scott Morrison, in January, what is it? 3 days ago. Yeah. He went and made a visit to try and, now he wants to support him. And they're like,
You said he
fuck
made
you.
a visit. When you say made a visit, do you mean he went to his home country? He visited his home country?
I mean, he made a visit to one of the rural fire stations. He's already back. Surprisingly, um, people weren't very happy with him going to Hawaii for some strange reason in the middle of all this. So he's come back, and he came back swinging his dick too. He's like, you know what? We're gonna I'm gonna get the army involved in this sort of stuff. Most other people, they wait for the governors of these countries, of these states, to ask for help, but we're not going to wait. We're going to take the initiative to bring relief to this crisis.
Ah,
Like, really? Really? Now that there's this massive gasoline fire, you want to come over and piss on it and say that you're helping?
what do you think? That's what he's doing?
That's exactly what he's fucking doing. He's trying to save face.
Well, I don't think he's even pissing on the fire. I don't think he's even doing anything. Like it's just,
What, him
hey guys,
person?
I'm back home. You know, in the midst of all this stuff. Now that I've been shamed around the world to do it, so I don't even think it's the equal of pissing on the fire. I don't think he did anything. I think he's wasting time. It's just me.
Well, him personally? No, of course he's not doing anything. I mean, like, in this clip, he's trying to go around and shake the firefighters' hands and support them, and they're like, fuck you. I ain't shaking your hand.
No, I don't blame any of them for not shaking his hand. I don't understand why he would even bother with it.
Well, he's trying to save face, and that's what this whole, this other thing was too. Because he has, committed Australian military reserve forces to assisting with the firefighting efforts.
Well,
Yeah, I got the video punished out. I just wasn't sure whether to play it or not because apparently it has origins in it was originally came out by an ABC journalist. So wasn't sure whether they'd be like eh. I mean, we can play it.
I don't care. What's the worst thing that happen? We get flagged. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I suppose. Actually, no. This was a Twitter upload by an ABC journalist. So I don't think that's gonna fall under any copyright because it was on Twitter.
Mm.
Anyway, I'll just Quickly put this over here. Shit. Alrighty.
Let's roll it.
That guy wanted to punch him, eh? He got up and he fucking left. Like, if you have a look at the start right here, he goes to shake his hand and the guy fucking disses him. He's like, no, I ain't shaking your hand. And then he grabs him anyway. And you see him forcefully pull his hand down, like, don't fucking touch me, man. Because I'm about 3 seconds away from clocking you. He gets up and leaves. That's
a hell of a thing.
Yeah. That's pretty much how everyone is feeling about Scott Morrison at the moment. I think it's well deserved. And I don't think that he's long for the political life.
Maybe. You can never tell with fucking politics. People will back the dumbest shit in the world sometimes. But one would hope that he is not long for the political or any other world, really. Just get out of everything. Get the fuck away from everything. Don't bother the human race. They don't need you. They don't want you. They don't like you. And, is that like the only interaction like that that's come out?
That's the only one I've actually come across.
I would imagine there's a lot more than that one.
I imagine he's keeping his head down, to be honest. Because I don't think anyone is going to give him any reaction other than this. So if he goes out there and he's trying to get press on this thing, then it's not going to look good. Because what you just seen doesn't fucking look good. Because that's basically how Australia feels about Scott Morrison at the moment. He's extremely unpopular. We've had like 5 years of drought. And
how many years he had in office?
I will have to look
how
exactly.
Close are you to another election? Like, when did they bring him in, and how much longer until, he can be just straight up voted out?
He's been Prime Minister of Australia since 2018. So, yeah, he took office on 24th of August 2018. He replaced Malcolm Turnbull as the leader of the Liberal Party.
Yeah, how long do you guys keep people in, though?
You guys do 2, 4, 5? What do you do?
Well, the next federal election is supposed to be held in or before 2022.
Okay, so you got him for a minute.
Not necessarily. See, with something like this, we can do a vote of no confidence. And
which you'd be right to do, honestly.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming. To the point, the vote of no confidence is, basically everyone gets to go and say, you know what? This guy, we got no fucking confidence in him, so we're gonna kick him out. I mean, that's how Julia Gillard became Prime Minister. She wasn't elected as PM.
That's why I worry even more. Like, you're gonna kick him out and you're gonna put somebody even worse in?
It's possible. I mean, it's a crapshoot. I mean, with the vote of no confidence, what they do is they replace the leader of the party that is in power. So they would vote on they would vote on a new Liberal leader, but that would be determined by the Liberal Party itself. But he's that well hated at the moment. I think people would take a turd sandwich.
Yeah, the old turd sandwich. Fucking reference. How old is that South Park episode at this point, by the way?
I don't know, probably as old as my son. It's probably like fucking 8, 10 years old.
You're saying the turd sandwich may be stale by now?
South Park's stale. But I was just wondering if that shit's like, if it's old enough to drink yet.
It may be. No, I doubt it is, but yeah. You'd vote in a wombat at this point in time.
A wombat. That's pretty specific.
Yeah, well, wombats are pretty ornery.
So he gets knocked out of power. Is this just going to be a thing where, people just keep passing the buck? Like, is there an obvious answer as to how to get things to maybe stop doing the out of control burning thing right now?
Unfortunately, the way things are, it's too late. With bushfires, especially as you can see them on the scale that they're at now, prevention is better than cure. And once they get to this extent, well, there isn't that much you can do. The best we can do right now is to try and combat the fires and all that sort of shit, but I don't see any sort of policy or anything that is going to stop this amount of our country being on fire. I'll just bring this up on screen. That's the current state of Australia.
Looks a bit Bernie.
Yeah. And by the way, especially down the eastern seaboard, those are all the most heavily populated areas. So, when things get to that point, with that many active fires, there's not that much you can do. I mean, a lot of us are hoping for rain, and there has been a little bit of relief with some rain in the past 24 hours. I mean, it rained here overnight. But,
Did it do anything? Did the rain stifle much or lost cause?
It can't hurt. It really can't.
It's something, but it's like it hasn't really like rained much. It was like a really light rain.
You know, these things. This thing is pretty much at the state where it's gonna burn itself out, and probably the best we can do is try and avoid loss of life and loss of too much property by fighting in certain areas. So far, we've managed to do that. To my knowledge, there have only been so far 2 casualties. A father and his son, they got caught in their car trying to flee the fire, and they went through a no-go zone, and the fire come up on either side of the road and kind of overtook them.
It's a little fucked. Just a little fucked. A lot fucked. But
There was another one just the other day. Somebody trying to defend his neighbor's house and ended up getting a heart attack and dying.
in the fire,
Well, from fighting the fire, but yeah, his heart gave out.
and that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's pretty
fucked up
nasty.
too.
But yeah, Punish Daddy, he's exactly right. It is fucking terrifying how quick these fires spread. Because you get some breezes, right? They'll blow an ember or something like that up to 1 kilometer away, and it lands in this dry grass bed. This lands in tinder basically. It's just been waiting to be set on fire because everything's so dry.
It's fucking scorched earthish.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of wildlife has been suffering.
I believe it. I can fucking believe it. And this started back in like November, right? Or was it before November?
I think
I don't think it's been like 3 months. I think it started like the end of November.
I think it started October, November. I don't know. I don't precisely remember. I mean, we were still doing the show about it when half of my town got set on fire.
Any kind of recovery effort on that gone any kind of okay? Or is that still, gotta wait it out a little longer?
That's pretty much over. I mean, there was another flare up a week ago or so, but it's basically just burning through bushland. It didn't really destroy much property in my local area.
I don't know, do you see an end to it anytime soon?
No.
No, they're saying it's at least could be another 6 weeks before there any significant rain or anything like that.
No, I see this going on for at least 2 or 3 months, to be honest. Australia is that dry at the moment. With the lack of backburning and with the extent of the fires as they are, I don't really see how they're going to stop it. I mean, I think the best we can do at the moment is try and steer it away from populated areas. But yeah, like Punished Dad said, there's a lot of fucking fuel for these fires to burn up. And it can just keep moving on.
Fucking. If that's the case, then
Yeah, we're kind of.
how long does it get to start those proceedings on a guy if he does what your prime minister has done here?
Oh, the vote of no confidence? Or we can do that. That could be brought to Parliament the next time they meet. Which could be in like a few weeks. And within a month he could be out. But yeah, at the moment the best thing people can do is we were all taught a lot about fire safety because it's always been a hazard in our country. The best thing you can do is try and clear up your gutters, things like that, of dead leaves. Try and get rid of anything around your property that is, kindling, tinder, waiting to be kindling. And, have an exit strategy. Plan on what you plan, an idea of what you plan to do if, this or this happens.
If anything happens.
Yeah.
Well,
And
a lot of things have happened.
yeah,
So I don't know, man.
everybody I know at the moment is experiencing this fire in one way or another. Everybody I know personally.
What was it? Like, he clicked his thing on like he was about to say anything. Say something, or did he turn it off? What was that? Okay. Okay. Well, with the people who you've talked to who are experiencing it personally, you don't have to, say anybody's name or anything. Who is a person who you know who has got it more or less the worst? Like, who has gotten it the worst of the people that you know personally? You don't have to say like who they are or whatever, I guess, but just like how have they gotten it the worst?
It's a person from the town that I lived in before I moved here, actually. I used to live a lot further down south. And it was way more rural. And there was a lot more bush. It was pretty much a town surrounded by bush. So they've had constant fires and smoke for weeks. Like that shit. When half of my town caught on fire, uh, it was a problem for about a week while the fires were burning. Changed the color of the sky. Uh, the air was completely laden with smoke. But that only lasted about a week and a half. Whereas for them, because there's just bush all around them, it's been like that for about 3 or 4 weeks now. And there's still the chance that, things could get worse. And those people and some other people that I know in a different part of New South Wales, they're in zones that are warned to watch for evacuation signs.
Goddamn.
So it's basically have your plan ready in case you get the text message from the emergency services saying, alright, you gotta clear out now. Because this shit just got out of control. Broke through the line or whatever. Leave.
That's some shit.
It's so eerie to see. Just seeing any of the videos, like everything is just got this orange haze over it.
Yeah. It's a weird glow. It's not necessarily like there's the the smoke that's kind of obscuring things, but there is a fucking orange glow to all of Australia right now.
Yeah.
It's bad enough they could see it from space.
I mean, you guys seen
Can they
that
see it
glow
from space?
a while
Yeah,
ago
just-
when I posted that video from my place, but it's a
I
bit
remember that.
it's a bit different when in pictures like the one that Punished Dad just posted, where everything in front of you is just a blazing inferno.
That's a whole lot of fire. It's I don't know, man. For it to get as out of control as I understand how the like you said, ember can get taken a little further and then more taken further, and it spreads. I got that. But for that dude to take that vacation when he did and just let this shit happen and see how bad that it fucking got, I can't believe he didn't resign. And I don't know, I would expect other countries to maybe, I don't know, throw some like fireworkers down there. I don't know what would they be called, fireworkers or some shit? Because like the firefighters, I've got that, but I'm talking about like a lot of people.
Well,
Like, not just the people to fight the fire, but like people, that dude had a heart attack fighting the fire. We're gonna need some medical people down there. Like, I feel like there should be some relief work probably sent down there, but I don't know. It's
well,
I don't know what their relations are with the others.
Trump's too busy, starting a war with Iraq and Iran to be much of a help. But Inaccurate Fool was telling me how they'd sent over some of their firefighters to give us a hand.
Who did?
Inaccurate Fool was telling me. I assume he's American.
Well, who sent Americans have sent some firefighters?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where Fool is from. I'm assuming he's American. That's something he said to me earlier today when I was like streaming The Witcher. Maybe he's British, because Bob Bot just goes, the British are starting to send aid workers.
Well, as long as somebody did. As long as somebody sent a little help, that's decent.
Nah, there he is. Yeah, he's a burger.
Okay, so according to him, America sent some shit over.
Apparently, the British are starting to send aid, so are some of the Americans, and Herb's going that he read that some Canadian firefighters are too.
That's decent shit. That is decent shit to hear. What is this? Oh, it's the time-lapse photo going around the planet. That doesn't look too nice. Damn.
Yeah, I'll have a quick look and see whether I can find out what this looks like from space. Satellite photos.
Is that a real thing? Like does it really look like that from space?
I'm just about to have a look.
Hold on, I can link the article too, but
So that looks fucking ridiculous, man.
yeah, I took that from this article. And it also has like a thing where it shows all the smoke.
Seems like a lot of smoke. Well, that's another thing. I'd worry that a lot of people are gonna get really sick off the fucking ridiculous amount of smoke. It seems like it's gonna be a thing.
It will be a thing. That's part of the problem that was part of the problem that I was having when shit was around. It was dealing with the smoke.
Hmm. Fuck it. It's a bad day. Having to deal with all that shit. It's been a bad few months, not just a bad day. Is that animals over on your end, Akujin? Is that what the birds sound like now?
Yeah, that was the birds at the front.
Okay, they sound awful now.
They've all got smoker's cough.
That's what it sounds like.
This is apparently real-time imagery.
They sound sad as hell.
That's taking too long to load.
Is that the time lapse thing?
Oh, Jesus! Fucking ad. Screw you,
At least
CNN.
there's that.
The Water Warrior coming this summer. Really?
Maybe if they sent a bunch of Sea-Doos out there to Australia, and that could be their way of trying to save them. Everybody just evacuate. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, they seem freaked out for a good reason.
Okay. You can't just play fucking CNN. But I don't know. Fuck it. If the channel gets fucked, what's it gonna do? Be on another one. Who cares?
This
The
Yahoo.
family took refuge in their boat, mooring 200 meters from shore. I imagine that's what a lot of people have done: is jumped into the fucking boats and went out in the water.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're near the water and everything on fire's around you, that's what I'd fucking do. This is a satellite photo from Copernicus.
It's a little bit freaky.
This one's like a time lapse from December 25th on to, I'm guessing, yesterday.
Those are pictures from space, and you can actually see it.
Yep, satellite imagery.
Mm.
And Punish Dad just handed me 2 good ones.
That one goes to the second.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really, at the end of all this, like once it's all cleaned up and everything, this is gonna be a very long, not pleasant process between a lot of people trying to figure out how they think about a lot of shit. Like, they're probably going to throw out the guy for damn sure. He's gone.
Oh, he's absolutely fucking gone.
But after that, it's going to be a lot of figuring out to do.
I don't think it's really that hard. You know, back in 96 and then 98, we had 2 really bad bushfires around the Sydney area. And that's when we instituted regular backburning. And what this backburning does is it basically you start controlled fires in order to burn away all the dead leaves and shit, so there's less fuel. And so not only does that decrease the chances of fire starting, it also makes them gives them less fuel if they do start, and they're more controllable.
Yeah, because you just throw all those out there and you don't really backburn. This is what ends up happening. It's just all that builds up and builds up and builds up, and then when there is a fire, it's just.
So yeah, what I see is happening after this is very much a reinstitution of the backburning. And I imagine that the all the budget cuts to the rural fire service will be reinstated.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of this throughout the years too. California went through a huge thing. I don't know how big it is in comparison. Obviously, they've said this is the biggest one.
Scott Morrison, he cut tens of millions from fire and rescue. He cut 12.9 million from Fire and Rescue New South Wales. While the Office of New South Wales Rural Fire Services, a service run by volunteers, lost 26 million. Now, whatever reason he did that, like he probably thought, oh, I can save a little bit of money over here. But I think when this fire is going to be over, it's going to be a stark reminder of what the price is of not paying for this stuff to be done and of not supporting our fireys. Because
I think at least one thing is I think every second that he's still stuck in office, it's gonna be miserable for him.
Well,
I think it's to the point where like he's probably looking forward to just being done with this all because
oh, he probably is, but fuck him.
he's got to walk around and be hated right now for what he's fucking done.
He deserves to be.
But yeah, I'm just saying that's like at least the bright side of him still being in office is like he's got to face this now. What he's fucked up.
This guy,
Right.
right? He's
Gotta
older.
run around and talk to these firefighters.
He's older than me. He should be wiser than me. And I remember the Sydney bushfires in '96 and '98. I remember how bad they were, and I know how important the rural fire service is. And especially the process of backburning. There are a lot of places you can like possibly trim money out of the budget if you're looking for other areas. I don't think the thing that stops our country from being you know, fucking burned to the ground is the thing that you cut. An inquiry into the Black Saturday fires estimated the cost at 4.4 billion with a B. So in order to save what? Maybe 30 million? This has cost Australia $4.4 billion. And that was apparently just the Black Saturday fires. That was just the damage caused on that day. That wouldn't be the cumulative damage that has been caused over the past fucking 2-3 months.
It's fucked. You said half of your town's down. Caught fire. I don't know how much. Like, was it like business districts and shit that were shut down? Like, what was the way the damage played out where you were?
The way the damage played out where I was, when I say half the town caught fire, it was pretty much all the bushland on half of the town. So the bushland on one half of the town that surrounds us pretty much entirely burnt to the ground. It didn't destroy homes or houses or anything like that. I think we're pretty lucky because I think that when the fires were here, it was earlier on. This was around November. There was a lot more people, and resources that were able to be committed because the fires weren't at the magnitude that they are now. Resources weren't stretched thin. People weren't exhausted. So, I think we were very lucky here.
Way to look at it. I don't know if I say anybody in Australia is lucky at the moment. But, I don't know.
Well, compared to how bad this thing could be, I'd say we've been very lucky.
Yeah,
To have only gotten by with, less than a handful of deaths.
This is that. Then minimal. That's the best way to put it.
Massive monetary cost, massive property destruction, massive damage to wildlife, but low cost of human life. So, I don't know. I suppose you got to be grateful for the little mercies.
The little mercies. Well, what do you think? Do you think Australia is going to factor into the big war that gets kicked off in the next 20 minutes? Do you think they're going to?
I
Do you
think
think everybody's going to kind of let them do their own thing and not really give them much shit for jumping in one way or the other?
See, that's the thing. I mean, we've signed treaties and things like that, so in a lot of ways, we're obligated to follow you into every fucking clusterfuck you start.
So lame.
I don't think anybody should suspect or expect Australia to be doing too much other than fighting with this right now, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There is not going to be any public support for any military conflict overseas at the moment. Absolutely none. Not that it was ever very high. I mean, it's not like they consulted the Australian public before we went to Iraq the first time with you guys. We didn't want to be there. The majority of Australians absolutely disagreed with it, but like I said, those treaties, we've been following you guys into every fucking war ever since World War II.
Really hoping we let you sit this one out. I don't know. How many people are all aimed at each other right now?
I actually haven't been keeping up to date on the Iraq-Iran conflict. I've heard a few reports. Basically, all I've heard is that Trump authorized some bombings, some air attacks on some people in Iraq that were apparently related to some sort of terrorism that was going on in Iran. Apparently, he claimed that Iran was trying to install some sort of regime in Iraq. And so Trump bombed a few people, and one of the people that he killed was the wrong people.
Only one, though. And that's a decent record compared to most people.
Well, probably killed a lot of the wrong people, but one particularly important one. One member of the Iraq government that had always been pro-US.
Well, I've heard that he wasn't. In some cases, I've heard different things. That's where it's all. It's such a mess finding out where exactly I don't know. This guy stands on.
Well, maybe you've been
summary.
following it closer than me, Fowl.
I tried to. I mean, I tried looking at things that were said way before this happened. But I mean, I hear different sides of it. Obviously, said this is a general, right? This is somebody who, has led armies. So I mean, he's going to make some enemies. He's going to make some friends. He's got to have blood on his hands. That's the cost of going to war. The thing that really actually weirds me out so much is that it's such a big deal. It doesn't weird me out. It's such a big deal that he died. There's so many innocent people that have died, and nobody seems to care. But somebody that is actually, sending troops into battle, they die, and suddenly that matters.
Okay, this Soleimani guy, apparently he's the fourth-ranking Iran official. Obama's regime labeled him a terrorist. It's likely they've been trying to kill him for years.
It's almost like we're trying, quote unquote, trying to kill him, but we weren't really. We're just dropping bombs other places and pretending we're trying to.
Totally trying to get that guy.
Yeah, we weren't actually supposed to get him though. That's the thing. It's not how war works.
I don't know, man. I have heard the idea that it was, elaborate, the 3D chess bullshit, whatever it is. But I don't know.
I've seen people celebrating his death. I've seen people mourning his death in the Middle East.
That's pretty much what you've been able to get with every single person killed in the Middle East so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find somebody celebrating. Yes, you'll find somebody fucking more. That's how that works.
What side do you fall on, I guess? Whether what Trump did was like heroic or, abominable. I'm sick of the whole war in general, so I'm obviously against it completely, but this wasn't like a big, this is worse than any other stuff we've done over the last 20 fucking years. All the people we've killed out there. Like, this was the one that really fucking mattered, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we've been out there fucking killing people for 20 years, and suddenly, this was the line in the sand, I guess.
Apparently so. I'm reading a live update now. It's the New York Times. Enough said. But anyway, announcements have followed in Iraq's parliament to expel American troops in response to the killing of Major General Qasem Soleimani, a top Iranian commander in Baghdad. And, yeah, Iran is not happy about this. They've made statements like, alright, we're going to have no limitations on our nuclear program and on enriching uranium from here on out. So they are, in response to this, Iran has abandoned all restraints or previous agreements to any sort of scaling down of its nuclear program. Iraq's parliament has voted to get rid of US coalition troops. It's forced the US to suspend its fight against ISIS. And Trump and Secretary of State Pompeo say the US could attack Iran directly. And Iran and its allies are mourning the two commanders that were killed. So yeah, in 2015, Iran's government made a commitment that it would not pursue the enrichment of uranium. They've now abandoned that in response to this. The final statement goes, the Islamic Republic of Iran will end its final limitations in the nuclear deal, meaning the limitations in the number of centrifuges. Therefore, Iran's nuclear program will have no limitations in production, including enrichment capacity and percentage and number of enriched uranium and research and expansion. But they said they might consider returning to the deal if sanctions against Iran were removed and Iran's interests were guaranteed. So basically, as a result of this attack, this bombing, Iran is threatening to scale up its nuclear arsenal. Well, they're not threatening it. They've set it into motion.
So, war?
It very much seems so, yeah. Because, yeah, the Iraqi parliament, they voted to get rid of the US, and Trump and Pompeo, they are talking about attacking Iran directly, and Iran is scaling up its nuclear arsenal.
Well,
So
that's the thing, though. They didn't really have one. They're looking to try to become a nuclear power, though.
Iran didn't really have one. Yes, they fucking did have one. They have had one for quite a while. I'm not gonna go into how they got it, but they have had it, and they'd had a chokehold on it since 2015. Because of agreements that have been made, and now they've just gone, fuck those agreements, we're scaling everything up. So to say that they've never had a nuclear program is incorrect. You could say it was in its.
They've had a nuclear program.
You could say it was in
its. Was what you were saying.
Well, you could say it was in its infancy, but the decision they just made, they're going to be throwing everything into nuclear arms. And with today's level of technology, I don't see it being out of question that they could have nuclear capabilities within a few months. If they don't already in secret.
fuck?
I mean, Israel had a nuclear program for like 20 years before they admitted to it. By the time they admitted to it, they already had all their arms. So, you know, when people they've already had centrifuges for enriching uranium for years. So whether they actually have any weapons, it wouldn't surprise me. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But the open declaration of saying, well, you did this, so fuck you, we're going to, you know, kick it into high gear. It's hard to tell with these things. Between Trump's statements on possibly attacking Iran directly and with Iran's statements of scaling up its nuclear capabilities, it's hard to tell how much of it is just posturing. You know, it's hard to tell who's holding four aces, who's got the flush, and who has a pair of threes.
What a wonderful world on that. I don't know. We talked about it last time I did stream. Where it was, fuck it. Would it just be so bad to just be done with this? Just blow them out of the fucking water.
Yeah, well, somebody mentioned earlier to me that in the stream that I was doing that, you know, I said, well, we fucking shouldn't even be over there, blah blah blah. Sorry, I just read something in the chat that just sidetracked me.
Interesting.
No, it's just Ninja. Iran could have nuclear capabilities within weeks. I said a few months, but whatever. Yeah, they were talking about how, oh, it's not a big deal, you know, the Middle East, they've always been at war, they've always will be at war, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that, you know, America and we have to be involved in it. And he goes, well, you know, big oil companies protecting their oil interests. I'm like, well, if that's really what it is, then stop with this democracy bullshit and stop with these half measures. I mean, if it's really the resources, if that's all it's about, then just glass the entire fucking place and take over the infrastructure. Because that's not the way it seems. The way it seems to me, this conflict in the Middle East is something that is supposed to be sustained and never won. It's supposed to be the never-ending war between East Asia and Eurasia. Something to constantly deplete the fighting male demographics of our countries. If this is really just about the oil, then just fucking go in and do it. And do it properly. What you're doing now, it's inefficient.
I have a feeling that that's going to be put to the test within the next few months. Like the whole fuck it, let's just blow it off the face of the earth measure versus the fuck them. Let's just fight them until they don't want to fight anymore. Measure.
Well,
Want to fight again in a few years, but
the
we're gonna figure out
Arabs.
which measure everybody goes with. I feel like most people are past giving a fuck about this thing. It's just like, fuck it, just blow it off the face of the earth. Fuck that place. But
See,
that's just me.
the thing about Islam and about the Arab people is, yeah, they're always going to fight. No, they're never going to give up. They're not. So, you know, when George Bush Senior went into Iraq, you know, he went in pussyfooted. He didn't do it properly, and so George Bush Jr. ended up having to go back there. What, 12 years later? Also, you could say that the Indochina conflict, Vietnam, that could have been won if you'd gone in hard and strong, full force from the start. You could make a very good argument that if you'd gone in and you had completely taken the gloves off from the start, you could have come out of that conflict quite quickly and successfully.
I mean, you obviously, this week get an idea of what they were avoiding, why they didn't do it. Because this is the reaction you get when you actually accomplish something.
I'm just saying, if you're going to go to war, then go to war. If you're not going to go to war, then don't go to war. Don't do things in half measures.
I don't know. Trump just he's doing the tweet thing. He's doing the thing where he's getting people behind the idea, and there are people who are all for it. I don't know where everybody's gonna land on the thing. I think there are people who aren't going to be done with this until that place is gone. Their government destroyed, the people more or less dispersed out to several other places because that place is uninhabitable. Like, turn that Holy Land into a nuclear fucking wasteland, and I don't think anybody's gonna be mad. Anybody outside of there, anyway. And it's just people are over this shit.
Oh, there's the humanitarian angle, which I understand. The whole war is immoral type of thing. We shouldn't be over there killing people. I can appreciate that. 90% of the time, I would agree with it. But
That's something I feel like is a thing, but that isn't really like the complete full answer of what bothers me about it. This tweet was basically what we was talking about: $2 trillion spent on military equipment. That's my big issue with it. We complain about we don't have enough money to fund this. We don't have enough money to fund that. There's millions of things that everyone complains, oh, we can't fund these things. People want to just waste our tax dollars on all this shit, where we could spend $2 trillion on all this stuff to just throw.
Yeah, you can spend $2 trillion on making sure you survive. Yes.
don't you guys?
We'd survive if we weren't over there.
What are you running at the moment? A $60 trillion deficit?
Oh, hold on. There's an embassy. Okay. Fucking, they don't want the embassy or whatever there. Fine, negotiate to get that going. But if a single American person gets killed by a government or group on any other place on the earth, I hope they spend all the money in the world to bring the hammer of God down on that motherfucker. You teach people, do not fuck with us, or else they will fuck with you. You get that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
this is on the scale of the world.
being strong and posturing strength are two different things. And politics is an attempt to posture strength, to project strength.
Yeah. You make sure that motherfuckers know that if a single drop of American blood drops on your fucking soil, you better have a good fucking reason.
Yeah, it had better have been in self-defense. I pretty much agree with you there. I mean, if
You don't want to play on that.
as far as
You
these
don't want to play on
military
that.
bases go, or these embassies, like if they want you out of your country, fine, leave.
I think it was Fowl that disagreed with me, and it was because we spent the money on that. Look, you have to spend money on the war machines. Because if you don't spend money on the war machines, the people who are going to be going to war with you will be.
Well, that's
It would be nice. It would be nice if everybody just squared up with a sword and a shield and just did battle. Yeah, that'd be nice, but that's not what we do anymore. You show up with a gun, they'll show up with a tank. You show up with a tank, they'll show up with a fucking a bomber. That you show up with a bomber, they've got anti-aircraft. It escalates until somebody better have the biggest fucking gun.
Well, yeah, you're not going to spend nothing on military. We spend proportionally more than the rest of the world, and a lot of that is because we are getting involved in other people's conflicts.
No, a lot of that is because we ain't gonna be the fucking one on the defense. You make sure that you have the best shit.
the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah. You fucking buy up enough to where you have enough shit to fight no matter what shows up.
And see,
You got to.
war is extremely profitable, especially to the military-industrial complex. Not just them, but also other infrastructure companies. I mean, you destroy Iraq through bombing, and then you come in and rebuild it with contractors. There's a lot of money to be made in war. I get it. And a viable ninja goes, China's just sitting back watching the West bankrupt itself in the Middle East shithole. You could very much make that argument. However, I would put to you a counter argument that all of this debt, it is a paper debt. I mean, it is a number on a piece of paper. If you turn around tomorrow and go, you know what, we're not paying back that debt that we borrowed from you, fuck you. What's going to be left at the end of the day? You're going to be left with all of this infrastructure and military capabilities which aren't going to go anywhere. And China is going to be left going, but you owe us this money. The thing about the debt system and the monetary system is it only works while we believe in it, while we follow the rules.
I don't know, man. I see a very worry horizon.
And so far, the only reason why the banks have been too big to fail, Ninja, is because they haven't wanted them to fail.
What was Ninja saying?
Ninja goes, lol, Akujin, the banks are too big to fail, you're so sloppy in your thoughts. And then he's like, debt is totally like, not real, man. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I mean, that's a misconstruement of what I'm saying then to make it sound infantile and rudimentary.
But
Well, what happens tomorrow if the US decides to default on all of its loans?
like
Probably World War III.
Really? You've got all of this infrastructure and military arsenal. Who is going to take you? Who's going to force you to pay back that money? Who is going to by force extract resources and wealth from you?
It easily can be done because the only thing that matters isn't just guns. There's other things. We need oil to operate those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes us, have to work with other people.
Not
There's
with
other things
China.
we import besides that. We need steel and iron and all that to make these weapons, and we don't make those here anymore.
What I said, Ninja, was the system of currency and debt only works while we believe in it. As long as we are all participating in the system, then it works. If you decide to go fuck it, then people have to go default back to something else, like the gold standard, or war.
And that's the other thing too. Like, a lot of the people buy oil with the dollar. Like, the dollar is the standard currency of the world. If it wasn't, then what good is dollar? We can't afford to not be, tied up to other countries. We're serving all these other masters now.
I'm not saying it'll be easy. I'm not saying it wouldn't be rough. And I'm not saying it wouldn't cause major changes to the way life is. I'm saying that the sun wouldn't set on the United States as a power. And the other resources that you needed, you could probably take them through military conquest. Fuck, you're already knee deep in the Middle East. All of Saudi Arabia's power comes from oil money. They don't have a military power.
More about the fucking who has the I don't know who has like the best. I don't think anybody has a really good edge going into this whole World War III thing if it goes down. I mean, yes, we spend a lot. We have a lot of money to kick around, but
Yeah, well, you have a lot of
I don't know if we
collateral.
have any kind of edge on that shit, dude.
What do you mean edge?
I don't know who would be an obvious pick for the ones who are going to come out in the best shape of the whole thing. I don't know how to pick any kind of winner in any of it because I'm not sure if there is any kind of winner in any of it. That make sense?
Yeah.
Or no? Okay.
I think the biggest threat to America would be its oil supply. To keep that military machine turning, you would need to secure oil. But isn't that what you're already doing? Right now you're just going about it in half measures, you're not going about it in terms of occupation. and conquest.
Yeah, what the fuck's that gonna do? What's it gonna do? Not much of shit. So you said it earlier, the whole half measure thing kind of fucking useless. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, the only thing it's good for is sustaining the war effort, making continued profits through the military-industrial complex, and depleting fighting-age young men from the population.
Yeah. Well, how's that going?
Depends on where you're sitting. If you're an average American citizen, it's not going too great. If you're
An average American citizen probably don't even notice, man.
you know, if you're
That's the thing
the
with most of this.
if you're sitting on the CEO board of Lockheed Martin, things are going pretty fucking well.
Alright. So do you think America's gonna do okay in this big war?
You
think
mean
they'll
this
come out
this
on the right end?
this potential Iran-Iraq conflict?
No.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen there. There is a potential for disaster.
I mean, World War II revitalized the economy because we made a lot of that stuff around here. There was industry at the time. There's nothing to gain from this. There's no like we're gonna come out ahead. Yeah, everything we spend going over there and fighting is gonna be in the negative, and lives lost on top of that.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Iran. And here's where they differ from Russia when you were in the Cold War. Two different people. And one also has a faith-based system behind it which encourages martyrdom. Iran is not Russia. I think that Iran is way more likely to make the choice to use nuclear weapons if it was available, even though they knew that they would be destroyed. The whole mutually assured destruction thing, I mean, that's what kept the Cold War going on so long between the Soviets and the Americans. I think that because of the nature of the Arab population and particularly Islam itself, they are much more likely to press the button if it was there, if it was real.
Okay.
If it was an option. So if that happens, yeah, America could get severely fucked up. Yeah, sure, you would annihilate Iran, but you would suffer massive casualties. And if you suffered those sorts of casualties, that may be when the paper tiger, China, decides they're gonna flex a little bit because you're in a bad spot. It could work out very bad for the US.
You could be right. I think you could be really right. Now you could be wrong, but I think there's something in that maybe. China jump into a conflict that wouldn't surprise me too much, especially if we're actually going with this whole world war fucking scenario.
Well,
It
that's
doesn't.
that's why they're talking about that. Just the fact that like all the communist countries kind of spoke out against us doing what we did.
I don't think it has much to do with communism as it has to do with power and
What?
China wanting to absolutely be the dominant world power.
Well, I mean, it was China, it was Russia, and it was North Korea that spoke out against this.
Give me a second. I gotta get a phone thing. Try to, I don't know, keep the argument about China going, I guess. I don't know, that's the contentious part.
Hmm.
And that's where it gets really weird because, you know, we could say, like, well, Iran could have nukes, but we know China does. We know Russia does. Um, yeah, what happens there is the question.
See, I'm reading the chat now, and American Gadfly was like, China wouldn't risk screwing their economy. It would be bad for us, but catastrophic for them. And Space Kissinger is like, China doesn't have the air or sea lift capacity to form an expedition force.
I mean, most industries in China right now, they're going to make money off the war, not lose money.
Normally, I would agree with you. But here's the thing. We're not talking about America as it is today. We are talking about America after it has suffered a nuclear attack. Has been severely weakened.
I mean,
So,
it is at least difficult to get to that point, but
well, like I
it's
said,
not,
it would have to be a
impossible.
series of catastrophic events. Alright, they would have to flex on Iran, and then Iran would have to have the nuclear capabilities, and then they would have to decide, you know what, fuck it, I know this is going to destroy us, but we're going to take out the Americans. So it would take a series of events to lead to that. I'm just saying, that's how it could end badly. Tonka asked, do you see this ending badly for the United States? At the end of the day, no, I really don't. I think the odds are in your favor. But, like I said, there is a difference between the posturing of the Soviets and the posturing of an Islamic country. Like I said, I think if they have the ability to cause mass nuclear casualties, they are far more likely to do it than what the Soviets were. Diz is saying, look up America's nuclear policy. If you get nuked, everyone dies. So, if Iran attacks. Yeah, I've heard of mutually assured destruction. So, Iran, the sovereign country of Iran, launches nuclear arsenal against the US and say wipes out the eastern coast. You have the ability to respond. You're going to attack the entire world?
Yeah, I mean, it would take hundreds of nukes to create what they call the nuclear winter. Um, for that to
I
happen, that's
look.
going to take. I mean,
America
we've only dropped
absolutely.
two in the history of mankind. So,
Look, with the current capabilities and the current
but
technology, America absolutely has the ability to destroy the world. I'm not denying the possibility.
oh, we have that many. Like that's no question. We definitely those that number of nuclear warheads exist. Um, but it is something where people are worried that like this is tomorrow is going to be nuclear winter. The world's coming to an end. It's
I think
a lot
America could
walked out the way
destroy the
before then.
world with 1/5 of its nuclear arsenal.
Hmm.
So even if 4/5 are compromised, I think they could still get the job done. I'm just questioning, would they? Would they nuke the entire world, all their allies, and everyone because of Iran?
Yeah, I doubt that. I mean,
So
I
this
doubt
whole
just
mutually
one
assured
country.
destruction thing,
Well, mutually assured destruction worked with Russia because they had just as many as us. So you figure if they're going to drop them, then we're going to drop all of ours, and you start seeing the numbers escalating of how many would go off at once.
Yeah, but that's not what Diz is saying in the chat. Diz is saying the policy is that if the US is ever nuclear attacked nuclearly with a nuclear weapon, they will respond by annihilating the entire world. It seems a little bit unreasonable to me. It seems a little bit. Maybe this is the policy, but whether it would actually happen, whether you guys would actually do, I don't know. Just say Iran led a strike on America, a nuclear strike. I could absolutely see them wiping pretty much most of the Middle East off the map.
Just blow that shit.
I could see that happening.
If it was on me, I would say fuck it, just blow all that shit up.
But I have
I
a
get
much.
There's a lot of implications to it. I get there's a lot of shit that would come after that.
I have a lot harder of a time though, imagining the United States saying, "Okay, Iran nuked us, so we are going to nuke the entire world. We're going to nuke the Middle East. We're going to nuke the Europe. We're going to nuke Asia, Australia. We're going to carpet bomb the world."
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's getting that from.
Well,
that sounds insane. Who would do that?
Diz is saying that this is the policy of America.
Wait, what? He's saying the policy of America is that if we're attacked, we must kill everybody else on the planet.
Yes. And that's what I'm having trouble. That's what I'm having trouble with. I'm having trouble with it logically, and I'm having trouble believing that it is an actual policy. What do you mean? What do you mean I read what I want? Did I just mischaracterize what you said? Because we've been talking about it for 5 minutes. I could go back in the chat and quote you if you want.
Alright, that's it. Fuck that. Let's nuke the whole chat.
Oh, and yeah,
that would be weird.
Bible Ninja said that is supposed to be the salmon plan of Israel if they're attacked. It's actually called the Samson. But yeah.
Well, he probably meant to type that, just missed the S. If he wrote salmon. Or did he write salmon with an L, like the fucking fish?
No, he didn't write salmon.
The salmon plant.
But it's Samson.
Okay.
The Samson option. And yeah, that
option anything like Samson. If I remember the story of Samson, it was not that. Well, I guess it was kind of.
Yes, it was that. At the end of the
kind of the thing. At the end, he's like, "Fuck it, they let me grow my hair back. I'm killing everything."
Yes, he pulled the two columns down together, bringing the entire place down upon himself and all of his enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Samson option. That is something I've absolutely heard is an Israeli policy.
It's fucking took me a second, but I was like, well, yeah, that is kind of how the story ended. But yeah, that's the Samson deal. All right. A decent name for the plan, I guess. Maybe. I guess. So, I don't know if that's the American policy, by the way.
I don't know. He's saying that I got the wrong idea about what he said. Have you been watching this,
Yeah,
Fowl?
they have.
No, I'm not sure.
You're not sure whether you've been watching the chat or not?
No, I mean, I'm not
Oh,
sure what's
Jesus.
going on in the chat. Trying to
Well,
look through it here, but it
maybe I
says,
misunderstood what he meant.
well, now would be a good time for him to clarify that.
I mean, maybe he was talking about the Israel thing everyone's talking about, the Samson plan thing, and maybe it just lost in translation or some shit. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Quote, Diz. Also, Akujin, look up America's nuclear policy. If we get nuked, everyone dies. And then Revenus right after him. If the US is nuked, all places are getting nuked. Diz, MAD, mutually assured destruction. And I'm like, you serious? Your policies kill the world? Diz, yes, our policy is kill the world. No, I did not misinterpret what you fucking said. It is directly what you said. If you meant to say something different, then you should have typed something different. Don't act like I'm a fucking idiot. Because I can go back and read what you said, dickhead.
Okay. What happened? Like,
I just directly quoted him.
So there was nothing missed between them.
You can go back as well if you want.
Well,
Shut up, Karu. Just because I'm an idiot doesn't mean I'm wrong.
just because I'm an idiot doesn't mean that's a great line. Just so you know. But I don't know, man.
I think he might be just misinterpreting what mutually assured destruction really meant.
I know what mutually assured destruction means.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying maybe because it just kind of gets implied what it is, but what it really is the fact that between us and Russia, we had so many nukes that if one of us dropped nukes, we were going to be dropping a lot of them. And that was the catastrophic amount of them that we both have.
I know that was the deal between Russia and America. Now, both of them had such a nuclear arsenal that if they all fired their nukes at once, against each other only, that the fallout would create a nuclear winter and would exterminate the life on Earth. I get that.
Yes.
Alright? But we weren't
talking the same as
I was talking about Iran. And I was talking about their ability to not make such a devastating strike, make a strike that would wound or cripple the United States because of their inability to amass such an arsenal. I was talking about if they had the chance to get one off and maybe look up some, do some severe damage to the east coast of the United States. That was the road we were heading down.
Alright, can I? He's not saying that our policy is we're going to nuke every single country if we get nuked. It's saying that if that many bombs went off, it would kill every country because of the like I said, the nuclear winter, which would end up leading to worldwide destruction because of the death of the plants and animals. But it wouldn't be us just dropping nukes in every single country. That's not what mutually assured destruction was. I think that's what he's thinking that means.
Maybe.
I don't know what the fuck he's thinking, because whatever the fuck he's thinking is not what he's typing.
Mutually assured destruction. That makes me think that they're just gonna shoot him at everybody. It's all everybody kills everybody. That's kind of what that means.
Well, no, I mean, there's an amount of nukes that would, if they were dropped, it would affect the climate. Because you'd have the radioactive fallout. You'd have
You made it about climate change. You did it.
yeah. Well,
You got
no,
it there.
really, it scientifically is.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's ain't-
I mean, dropping nukes affects the climate. It's just, you know, hundreds and hundreds of them that would actually have that catastrophic of an impact. Um, yeah, that's a completely different. And I think that's a little bit hypothetical too. Obviously, it hasn't ever happened, so there've been a lot of nuclear bombs tested during a period of time. I mean, there used to be a time, during when we were testing all these, that there was, hundreds of them that have been exploded over time.
Well, do you? I don't know. Do you think that that's how it'll play out? Yeah. I know that you've been kind of looking at what. How do you think it'll play out, Fowl?
I don't know that we go completely nuclear. Obviously, that's the big thing is we're trying to keep all these other countries from having nukes. Um, I'm not expecting anything to go nuclear. I expect business as normal. I expect, we're going to be at another war, and then, we'll be over there for another 5 years fighting a war, and then, uh, you know, before we get done there, there'll be another war that'll pop up because it just seems to be the formula for the Middle East anymore.
Yeah. Based on the balance of probabilities of what's most likely to happen, I would 100% agree with you.
And I think that money could be spent on a lot better things than, sending people, economically back, uh, ending lives. I do realize they're not peaceful people. So I mean, I get that, but
Well,
we choose to be over there.
We didn't get on this entire tangent based on the question of what is most likely to happen. Tonka asked me what I thought. Could it go bad for the United States? Is it a possibility? I'm like, yes, it's a possibility. Because this could happen and that could happen. But what is most likely to happen is pretty much what you said, and pretty much what's been the past 10 years in the Middle East is most likely to happen.
A lot of stifling.
A lot of stifling, a lot of skirmishes, low-scale military invasions, and a lot of deaths of innocent people and young Americans, and a lot of money made and spent.
A lot of shit that don't have to happen. Is that?
Yeah.
Like I looked this up, and it's over time. So it's but there have been 2,056 known nuclear tests, nuclear explosions. So it's not like it's anything that new. But it's obviously something we don't want to, happen with a, you know, catastrophic death rate. It's not good, but I don't think like there's some easy formula of like if this many nukes go off, we're all gonna die. It's really hard to say. That's what scientists think. Like so many went off, there'd be nuclear winter and this and that. And it's possible.
The whole question of will this lead to World War III is I highly doubt it.
I was gonna get to that one, and I do too. I really doubt it's going to.
I highly, highly doubt it. You know why? Because a world war requires the world at large to be at war. countries
Oh.
warring against other countries like it did in, World War One or World War Two. I don't see that happening. I don't see, you know, 3 to 5 of the largest countries in the world going to war against 3 to 5 of the other largest countries in the world. I don't see that coming out of this conflict at all. I mean,
that's such a
some of
perspective
these
looking outward.
countries may piss and moan about it. Like China may not be happy about it. Russia may not be happy about it. Is that going to lead to war between those countries? I doubt it. Very unlikely.
Well, there will be the I
So-
can see Russia, the States, a couple places in the Middle East. I don't think China will bother. Maybe they will, but I don't know. I'm kind of with the contingency in the audience that doesn't think they'll bother.
Well, who would go to war with the United States over Iran? I can't think of one major power. I can't think of one country in a position of power. Not even Saudi Arabia.
Well, they would be the ones pushing us to go to war with them. But don't is it Syria or Iran that Russia gets most of its oil from?
That's what
Syria.
you should probably figure out is who's paying who.
I
And
think I get
It's
most of it from Iran.
Syria.
But okay.
I thought it was Syria. That's why they've showed such a vested interest in Syria.
Yeah, it kind of works that way.
I don't know. I think they're the idea that this is going to be a war getting kicked up over Iran. That's another thing that I think a lot of people are looking over. Not a lot of people give a fuck about Iran in a nice way, other than get oil and shit from them.
Like I said before, yeah, there are a lot of bleeding heart people that are like, oh no, war is a tragedy. We should never kill another human being. And also, we should stop eating animals because animal murder is almost as bad, well, worse than people murder. But as a country, I don't think the majority of people give a shit about the Middle East.
No, I don't think they do.
Any Middle Eastern country. And I think a lot of the people
Grand scheme, probably not.
I think a lot of people that used to care about the Middle East have become desensitized to it over the past 10 years.
Or 20.
Yeah. Whether they felt strongly for or against it, or for it, over the past 15 years, they've probably gotten to the point where fuck it, I'm sick of fucking hearing about the Middle East. I don't care, just do whatever you want.
I could believe it. I could believe that. If you did start off being really sensitive to some of the issues in the Middle East and shit over the past several forever, you're probably I don't know. I may not fucking care anymore. And I could get that.
Well, that's pretty much me. I don't think we should be in the Middle East at all. I don't think we should have ever gone into the Middle East. I completely disagree with all the military intervention in the Middle East. But I'm at the point where if you want to fucking just glass the whole thing, fuck it, just do it and get out.
Just do it, be done.
Yes.
And that's the biggest issue with a lot of this. Is
I'm losing the ability to
more fucking
care.
ever. I think most of the world is losing the ability to care about that shit.
Well, maybe that was
The
by
war that's been going
design.
on forever and a day, and it's been drug out forever and a fucking day. So
Maybe that was by design too. You know, maybe
Yeah.
maybe they couldn't go in full strength at the start because there was people like me that were saying, "This is fucked up. We shouldn't even be there." Because there were a lot of people like that. George Bush had a very high disapproval rating after what he did in Iraq.
I think they're gonna have a. I don't know. I think they're gonna have a much easier time with that going. With this than the whole thing before. Even with All right. The way that this is playing out. Yes, I know that a lot of people are against it because they don't like Trump, but it's not as fresh of an idea. That's going to. Well, I mean, we're already over there, right? I mean, we may as well defend ourselves. Right? There's a lot of these arguments that are going to be made and can be made that will make it seem like a much smaller deal than when we went to war over there about 20 years ago.
Yeah, but one of the things you touched on, that's going to be the biggest resistance.
What?
The fact that Trump is the president.
Oh my
There are
Yeah,
there are a lot of people that fucking hate him, and if he cured cancer tomorrow, they would come out against that cure.
Yeah.
that's what aggravates me the most on this. A lot of the people that, like I said, I complained about civilians getting killed a couple months back. No one cared. All these people that are complaining now, they didn't care that happened.
No.
It just didn't matter. And
Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize while
We
he
were-
was fucking drone bombing children in the Middle East.
it was a couple months ago. It wasn't even a month ago. We were talking about like, yeah, let's bring our troops home, and we voted to keep them out there because
Yeah.
fuck Trump. And now Trump
Yeah.
wants to bomb somewhere, and what the fuck? He's starting a war now. He's going to start World War III. It's like, Jesus Christ. Can you all just like stick with one narrative? Just
No,
for
they're
more than 5 minutes?
openly.
The narrative is merely anti whatever the fuck Donald Trump says. That's all the narrative is, dude.
Yeah, and it's
That's
fucking
as far as they got with their thought process on a lot of that shit.
and it's fucking obvious because all
Yeah,
the
and that's-
Democrats they were all for intervention in Syria because Trump didn't want it, and now this shit, they're all against it.
Yeah, that's my thing. Do you think that's going to win them an election? They're fucking idiots.
It's all they've got.
They don't stand for anything. Who's going to go out and vote for them?
Idiots. And unfortunately,
Idiots.
there is a lot of idiots that have the ability to vote.
I mean, this is the blueprint for the 2016 election.
Yes.
Didn't work.
Well, I mean, he wasn't already president then.
Yeah, they have had 4 years to lie and bullshit about him. Weaponize, propagandize the people, weaponize the media. Still, I really don't see Trump losing the election. Because I don't see
Why not?
any potential candidate that could run against him.
Yeah, me either. Although, like, honestly, I had some support and hope for him when he was trying to bring our troops home, and that's obviously not is gonna end up being what's happening. And granted, like that thing did happen at the embassy, so I get why we ended up here, but it just nothing ever changes.
I mean, you could stick a hat on a mannequin and run him as the Democratic candidate, and he would still get like 30 or 40% of the vote. But that's not enough to win. And I think the one or two people that could possibly beat Trump, like Fakist says, Yang, and also Tulsi Gabbard, I don't think they're going to be run.
Yeah, yeah, you can pretty
So
much guarantee that.
it's a recipe for failure for the Democrats. If they were smart, they'd run Gabbard. She's too reasonable, though.
I don't think they could now because she completely fucking the when she voted president at the impeachment hearings that was such like a fucking piss in the wind uh, to the Democrats. And like I get why she would. I mean the fucking you're gonna you have all this shit going on in the world. You got the election going on, and I think that the whole idea is just to keep Trump from campaigning while he's forced to be on trial because they don't have the votes to get him out. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to get impeached. That's a reality. We just don't have the majority there.
It's even
Let alone,
what's going to be even harder to accept is that he's going to get reelected.
yeah, at this rate, yeah. But that's why she voted, president because she realizes this is all posturing. This is all bullshit. It's a waste of money and time. But there's so many people on the left that were so fucking butthurt about that. I'm not, because like it wasn't going to accomplish anything. Even if you don't like Trump, even
What
if
does it
like
do?
this is your only stance, is I don't like Trump. The impeachment isn't going to do any fucking thing.
Anti-Trump is not a political position.
Well, it is now.
Apparently.
It is not a winning political position.
No, because they can't
It could
stand
be.
for anything.
It could be. We don't know yet. I don't think it'll
I
be,
doubt it.
but it could be.
I doubt it, and I don't agree with him on all of his policies. But I mean, I'm not going to vote for a politician that's not consistent. That flip flops depending on like what Trump does. What the fuck's the point?
What flip-flop bothers you the most so far?
Well, this where like I said, innocent civilians got killed months ago. Nobody says a word. A military leader
Oh, they said
is
a word. They
responsible.
supported it. Think the Republican base was mad at Trump, and the Democratic base was supporting him. Words were said. It was just the opposite of today.
Oh no, the Democrats voted to stay in Syria. That's the thing that fucking pisses me off the most. That was what the fuck am I even? I'm not with these guys anymore. That was the what was all the bullshit you've talked for the last 20 years about how much you hated George Bush and all the policies he's done. Then Obama continued those policies and they all fucking looked the other way. And now Trump is was trying to actually back away from those policies and we're gonna fight him on it. It's like, yeah, I get there's things to fight him on. Sure, fine. But if he's going along with policies you should agree with, for fuck's sake, obviously they didn't never agreed with him to begin with. Obviously the whole anti-war thing was just anti George Bush at the time. That's all it really comes down to. And it sickens me that they just don't stand for anything.
What should
I
they
think the
stand for?
right's got the same problem.
Who does anymore?
Yeah, what is it to stand for these days?
Because they were all about the war, and now they're, oh, let's bring the troops home. Yeah, we said that 10 years ago. I see that problem with them complaining about, like, I support the people on the right that are fighting against Google, that are fighting against all these corporations. At the same time, this is why I didn't want corporations like that to have so much power that they can completely just silence and take away our own rights because they have money. Now suddenly that's a problem. It's always been a problem to me, but now they're seeing it. I think that a lot is flip
I
flopped
don't
in
think
the
it's
last.
corporations that are silencing people here, man. I think this is mainly just people listening to. I think it's a lot of peer pressure.
Well, that's not on the war. That's a different argument. But
Also,
it's like
these air quotes corporations you're talking about, people like Google, they're very, very partisan. They're very, very much anti-Trump, anti-conservative.
see, like I said, that's a different discussion actually. But it's
Yeah,
not
but
completely just that.
you're discussing whether they should have the power to do it at all, regardless of whether they had a bias or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never agreed with it to begin with. But when people 10 years ago were complaining about all these corporations having too much power, everyone just called us idiots and socialists because we didn't want this world to happen. It's happening right now. And now everyone's seeing the problems we had and they're going, what the fuck? What is this bullshit? This is the world you guys created.
Yeah. We shouldn't have gone
So,
down
so it
that
is with
road.
both sides. I do criticize the left more than I do the right, but it is the right that let this happen too.
I just think most of them let all this shit happen. I mean, that's kind of. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily fair to be like, oh, the right let this happen, or the left let this happen. A complacent populace.
No, that's what I'm saying. I usually actually like hammer more on the left of shit that they let happen, but I'm not going to really say that the right didn't do their fair share of it. That's all I'm pointing at today. As normally I've talked more about things on the left that bother me.
Yeah, well, that's because you used to define yourself more as a Democrat, which is understandable. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Tim Pool is so critical of the Democrats, because he was a Democrat and he's not liking what he's seeing. So most of his criticisms are leveled at them.
I posted this a while ago, and it's a completely different subject to like watch a video or anything like that. But David Pakman put out a couple of videos lately complaining about how much he's been dismonetized and uh, struck and copyright claimed, and just piled
Fuck,
on.
yeah, fuck David Pakman. He was encouraging all that shit right until it happened to him. He's another fucking YouTube whore.
No, he wasn't. I could give you
He
points, but
was.
that's
Fuck
completely
David
different.
Hackman.
But that's somebody. What I'm saying is that's somebody on the left, and we keep saying like, "Oh, it's only happening to the right. They're the only ones getting sense." No, it's corporate media versus, um, YouTube versus small media. That's what the war really is.
No,
It's just
they've
there's
just gone
some.
after a few of the most extremists on the left in order to say, "Oh,
David
look,
Patman's
we're
extreme.
in the bullshit that he was spreading." Yes,
He's a fucking Boy Scout. He's like so fucking milk toast when it comes to all that shit. Like, you'd have to have watched him enough
extreme
to
in the
know.
lies and the bullshit.
And I could give you his stance on censorship was he agrees with companies being allowed to do this, but he also said if you disagree with that, and he was talking about like how you would actually stand up against that. Like he's willing to do that much. I
Pac-Man
respect him for at least that
has
much.
been
Yeah.
pushing this Trump, Russia, fucking Trump is insane shit for fucking ages. Don't tell me he doesn't have extreme delusional opinions that aren't flat out misinformation.
I don't even know what he said about the whole Trump thing. I'll be
Well, I
honest, I
just
don't
told
follow
you.
him that closely.
Well, I just
But
told you. Goddamn. You
well,
stupid.
if that is true, that's true. I don't know.
I'm not saying whether or not I did not go down that road. He went down that road.
My whole point was like he is a leftist and he is getting demonetized, censored. And that's the whole point there. It's not
Oh,
that
what? So I'm supposed to cry
really.
for Rachel Maddow too now that she's fallen
No,
out of
you're
grace
supposed to
after
realize that
shit?
it's the big media corporations trying to silence small media corporations.
goddamn.
And it's not this big left and right bullshit. It's these fucking the people in power trying to stop the people that aren't in power. That's what you're supposed to realize. I want the people on the left to realize that too, because they should be up in arms about shit like this. They're not. And it pisses me off that so many of them just look to the right because they think, oh, well, it's just happening to the right. Why should I give a fuck? Well, it fucking matters. You think it's not going to happen to us? It fucking matters, yeah.
Yeah, well, now that it's happening to some people on the left, maybe they'll start listening.
Yeah. I said that
I
to
don't
them
know,
months
man.
ago, though. I've always said this. That's my point. This is my gotcha. This is my, like, you guys fucking acted like this isn't a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. Now what? It's
Which
Penny also thinks it's a big deal.
yeah.
And she also
Hold-
thinks fuck David Pac-Man.
Hold on. All right. I may have, I don't fucking know or care that much about the Dave Patman dude one way or the fucking other. I don't really have a dog in that race, but I don't know. I've never said it was really a left or right thing that was going on with the YouTube thing. More or less kind of on the same boat as you with the bigger fucking media versus smaller media. Kind of on that. I think there's a little more to it. But I don't think it's straight up left, right. The right gets thrown off of YouTube. The left gets to stay on YouTube. I don't think it's that.
To be honest,
No,
I don't think it's right or left either. You know what I think it is? I think it's truth and lies. I think it's information and misinformation. I think they
depends on what you're saying.
They go after facts. They go after the things that people need to know. And they incentivize misinformation and bullshit and lies. Regardless of which side they're coming from.
That's like a blanketed thing. Like obviously they have certain agendas they want to push. And that's the one.
Yeah, and the agenda they want to push is have one narrative where they can lie to everyone about what's going on and keep everyone fucking stupid and misinformed. Shut up, Ninja.
Is it? I don't know, is it? What is it going at you about? What is it?
I don't think what I said. Yeah, we already resolved that, but yeah. They're a couple minutes behind, but yeah, that was like, yeah, it was kind of sad. We got there though. No, because even a couple of months ago, I tweeted towards him. I can't even remember what it was on about, but it was something else he got caught up in like that. And I said, "This is the problem. They've been doing this for months." But no one on the left seemed like they were speaking out about it until now. I'm glad they finally fucking are. Not that I'm saying like David Pac-Man's like the hero that we need or anything like that, but I want to see more people on the left actually going against this, going against like I don't know, all this silencing people, all this censorship, all this like Google controls the narrative bullshit.
I understand where you're coming from. I mean, there's a big part of me that's like, fuck you guys. All you guys, you were all fucking encouraging this shit fucking 3 months ago. Now that it's happening to you, you got a problem with it? Were you all pushing for more of it before? So there is that side, but then there's also the side that, okay, now this is happening to more people, so we can get more support from both sides to deal with the issue. So it's hard to be reasonable and to come to the place where this is how you would respond if you were being completely level-headed. Given the fact that these people have been pushing for the shit that's been fucking you and has now just started fucking them for the past 4 years.
I'm sure these people would call me a conservative just by the things I say. That's the reality of the whole situation, and that's fine.
Well, these people don't know you.
But yeah, that doesn't mean that every conservative talking point is something I disagree with, and that's one that they have finally realized. Like I said, 10 years ago, when we were, when everyone was running around Wall Street and protesting the banks and everything, everyone was like, fuck off. They got money, so what? Who cares?
You mean the Occupy Wall Street shit?
Yeah. That was capitalism succeeding. I'm an alt.
Success of capitalism.
Like alternative.
Well, I don't know, man. I think almost everything I keep trying to say, it ends up getting into like these big fights, and I'm just trying to fucking I was just asking a few questions, little questions, nothing big.
I don't think
Akujin really understands my point on some of these things. I think he just kind of assumes it sometimes.
I hear that a lot from a few different people.
There's a lot of times I fight with you and I'm just like saying the same thing you are, and I'm just like, but you're mad because I'm saying it. What the fuck? That's happened so many times on this show.
I don't know, do you see eye to eye with him a little, Akujin, and it's just a few things that kind of irritate you about it, or are you fucking...
I see eye to eye to him. I understand where he's coming from on a lot of stuff, but just some of the shit I have a knee-jerk reaction to. Like that whole, oh yeah, David Pakman, that shit, that introduced that knee-jerk reaction from hearing David Pakman's bullshit for the past few years, and actively campaigning against people that were saying, hey, this Trump-Russia stuff, it's bullshit. But then there's, like I said, there's the reasonable side where you're like, okay, well, now we can finally work together to solve the problem of, it's the censorship of information, which is the big issue.
Do you think there's anything to David Pakman being kicked off that... I don't know, do you think there's anything to that? What he's trying, the point he's making there, where it's happening on both sides, or do you think it leans one way or the other?
Well, like
because
I
earlier
said,
you did say that they're just taking off a few extreme examples of the left so that they can hammer down the right. You did say that.
Yeah, I still think that's a possibility.
Okay.
And
you lean more toward that or toward the other case? Because you've kind of said both now. So I'm wondering which side you're on.
The thing is, I don't know what Pac-Man's been saying of late.
Okay.
Of late, when he was like kicked off, I don't know what he was saying right before that because I stopped paying attention to him. Maybe things started to go where he started talking some real shit. Maybe he started letting a bit of information go. And they're like, no, we need to stop this. And that's why they hammered him. I don't know why they went after Pac-Man. I don't. It could be because they were trying to appear bipartisan, or it could be because he started saying things that they didn't agree with. Not knowing what he's said of late, I really can't say. But from what I can see of Google's policy, it is there is one narrative. There is the official narrative. This is the story. This is how it happened, and anything else is misinformation and needs to be gotten rid of. And whether you are on the left or whether you are on the right, if that's how you will be judged.
Oh shit. Picking up anti-establishment types on all sides, that means anti-corporate lefties, but a huge chunk of conservative movement is now anti-establishment, so it's hit harder. Decent.
Maybe.
You think that's a decent take from Jorgman?
Yeah.
You think anti-establishment is more of the target?
Yeah, well, they've got to maintain their legitimacy and their chokehold on what is truth.
Okay. I can go with that. Jorgman says Jimmy Dore might be the last honest Democrat left. Every policy he wants is wrong, but he's honest. I don't know if he's honest. I watched him spit in somebody's face and then like walk away and act like he didn't do it, and then say that he didn't do it, and like really chump out on that. Like that's one of the few political guys who I really have nothing for. He's like, I don't like Alex Jones, and then here's this little shithead who makes it to where he's like, you know who can be more unlikable than Alex Jones? Me.
I could see on that incident how you could fault him for that, but I do
Oh
like his.
man,
I do like the way he talks. That was kind of a scummy thing to do, I guess.
I got
but-
no interest in hearing that piece of shit talk. If he ever does a fucking boxing match and gets his block knocked off, 10 out of 10, I'll watch that. He ought to be fucking ashamed. Like that was some downright piece of shit act. Like, dude.
Yeah, that was some scummy. I'm gonna kick you in the balls because I know that the teacher's right
he's
there.
being held back, and you fucking spit in his face, and then try to run away, and then say you didn't do. Dude, that's a piece of shit. I know that people, apparently people on the left are liking it. Cool. I'll say something bad about somebody on the right too. Ted Nugent, absolute scumbag. Absolute cowardly little scumbag. Same thing for Jimmy Dore. And I'm sure they would say the same thing about each other. So, hallelujah. There you go.
It's
Not good dudes. But for some reason, how has Jimmy Dore gotten any kind of anything after doing that? Walk up on somebody, spit in their face, try to, like, while they're being held, and try to run away, and then try to say, no, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Motherfucker. You definitely did that.
We seen you do that! I just watched you do that!
I haven't thought about that shit in a long time. How many years ago was that? That's like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Oh,
It was a minute.
it was something like that. Yeah, it was.
Okay,
It was.
that was fucked up.
That was nasty. That was nasty ass shit and fucked up. I don't know. When I think of somebody air quotes on the left that I kind of respect, the only person I can really think of is Tim Pool, and I still watch some of his stuff. But he's refused to go down the crazy train with the left, with the Democrats. I don't know whether you do even classify him as a Democrat anymore.
No. I wouldn't classify him as much anything.
Maybe he's more of a centrist now. I don't know. But
I kind of think I don't know. I think he could be a million things, and I would never know. I've never listened to this dude. Really, like, sat and listened to him because of that shit in particular. I was like, I will not forget your name.
no, I said Tim Pool, not Jimmy Dore.
Oh, Tim
I got
Pool.
no idea what the fuck Jimmy Dore's doing. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Tim Pool, I just don't like. I don't buy what he's selling for a second. I do not. I don't know. I just don't buy into the Tim Pool thing. I know a lot of people do, and that's cool. And I hope they enjoy him or whatever. But yeah, I don't buy what he's selling.
Well, I was
I
talking
just see him as conservative.
to broadly just clarify. I was talking as far as YouTube commentators go.
I got better things to do than respect YouTube commentators. So, I don't know. Maybe that's unfair of me. Maybe it's unfair.
Jesus, I mean, like, I don't respect him like the way I respect my parents. Just saying, he just doesn't seem. The shit he says jives.
The shit that he says jives.
I agree with the majority of it.
Do you like him, Fowl? The
Who?
lefty guy. Tim Pool.
I don't consider him a leftist at all.
Okay.
He like blatantly, legitimately, like just always tries to blame the left for anything and always discredits anything the right does. Is oh, that's not a big deal.
I don't see him commentate much on the right at all.
No,
Really.
no, and that's my point. Like
I see him as somebody that has gone after the left because he was a Democrat and now he feels like he's been burned by his party.
yes, I feel like I've done that too, but I'm still willing to call out both sides, not just blame everything on the left. And that's all Tim Pool does. That's all he knows to do. That's all he is now.
He focuses on the left. Absolutely.
Well. So, do you not like him? Because I was like,
if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. Wait a second, hold on. Bad analogy. No, I think that's all he is. He's trying to push conservative propaganda, trying to pretend to be a leftist. He's not. He's a conservative. He just needs to admit to that. And I see him just as another biased journalist. Just plenty of them out there. Most of them are. There's an actual code of ethics journalism.
Most of them are?
There's an actual code of ethics that they have written that journalists are supposed to be in. If you read them, it's ridiculous to even imagine because there's no journalists that aren't like biased on some level. That's just the reality we faced in the modern times. Everybody, tells the side of the story they want told.
So you think he's one of those?
Yeah,
All right. So
I've.
do you think Pac-Man is one of those?
Oh, he's definitely liberal bias. Yeah, Pac-Man. He's at least not pretending to be something he's not, but he definitely is biased uh, towards the left. Yes.
So what is one supposed to do in order to try to figure out what the fuck is actually happening and not just be, you know, bombarded with the bullshit?
I
Because
don't.
what you're saying is, well, even the guys you like have this bias, and so is there anywhere to go and not catch the bias? The answer is no. By the way, I already know the answer.
There's some sites to check that kind of map what media bias different places have, and they have some that don't have any that you can look into.
Fucking
I would
mapping
not
media bias.
trust
Per-
that.
Personally, what I'll do
Media
is if I
bias
hear
map.
There is no fucking way I would trust that. Here's the reality. Everybody's fucking biased. Everybody has their own personal opinions, which are gonna bleed through in some way, shape, or form. What you do is you look for the information, you try and sift through the bullshit, you take what is useful and discard what isn't.
I think
It's
if
called
something's
critical
going to be
thinking.
if something is going to be something that you actually value being opinionated on, you have to look at all this different sides of it, and you have to look at just because they said somebody told they quote somebody as saying something, will actually go out and look for them saying it. Don't just
Go
somebody
see if
said
they actually
this.
said that.
Yeah, go actually
Oh
fact
well, why
check it.
would you
Make
do
sure.
that? Why would you check anything?
I
That
don't
seems
know.
stupid. Who checks shit?
Not the Democrats.
Don't just go
Okay,
like,
so
oh,
Republicans definitely check everything, right, Akujin? Because I'm not going to be able to find blunders there. Come on, man. Fuck.
they'll just
What?
go like, hey, I heard you on a doxing server. Okay. That's the world we live in now. I believe like the internet term of that was noggin jogging. That's a lot of that in the actual media too.
Yeah. Conspiracy theorizing with a green light. That's really all it is.
Hey, easy. Whoa there, bud. No need to bring in the conspiracies.
It's a thing. What is this? Oh. I got sent the thing where Alex Jones is getting spit on like 3 times.
uh,
It's a hell of a video. Can't believe Jimmy Dore did that on purpose.
I really like Jimmy Dore and what he stands for politically. Not his finest moment. I'll give it that. I'm not going to try to defend that.
he didn't do it.
I
Didn't you hear what he said
yeah,
afterwards? It never happened.
oh
That
yeah,
never
because he
happened.
didn't want sued or arrested or anything. I'm sure, but yeah, he tried to play it off like it didn't happen, but it happened.
You
It
want to
fucking
play it?
happened.
I don't know if
I
we
just
fucking can, but like, I'm not like just showing it just to like bury Jimmy. I don't care that much about Jimmy Dore, but it's just that's weird that that's the thing that happened, and everybody's like, no, that's the honest guy left in politics. The fuck it is.
mm. Well, if
Well,
you listen to him talk about politics, yeah, he's pretty honest. If you listen to him talk about whether he spit on Alex Jones or whether people should spit on Alex Jones, he's probably biased. He'll probably talk
He's
out
a
his
little
ass.
biased.
That's not really the policy I listen to him for, but
hey, maybe he's
that's
honest in every part of his life except when it comes to being a spitter or a swallower.
He did it.
there you go.
He's that guy.
Maybe that's his bias.
I mean, I do fact check the things that he says as well, and actually, he stands on the whole like against what Trump did with the this killing too, and I'm not sold on that yet. I'm against it for the part that I'm against us being even doing anything over there anymore. But um, yeah, I did look into it. There's reasons I could say we were provoked for it too. So I don't just look at it like that. Like it's not. You can't just go like, oh well, this is the person I respect, so everything that they say is right. If you go into it like that, then you're gonna get fooled.
Accurate. With the exception of Alex Jones. Everything he says is right. He's a modern day prophet.
Oh, definitely.
Sent by God to destroy the liberal globalist demons trying to enslave humanity.
Man, I don't want to hate Alex. But he's fucking ridiculous, and you know it.
He is.
I'm not out here trying to hate these fucking dudes who I do not even know, but you have to know that guy is full of shit.
He is the best wrestler in news.
Sure.
I believe that was a thing leading up to the spitting thing. He had T-shirts that printed up that said Bill Clinton is a rapist or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, hasn't Jimmy Dore said similarly terrible things about the Clintons?
Well, I don't know if rapists. I doubt they've
Not
said
quite
that.
that, but isn't he one of the people who were
Oh
doing
yeah,
the thing?
he's criticized the Clintons. He's
No, I'm not
criticized.
saying criticize. I'm saying that they're responsible for the deaths of people and shit.
Yeah, but he never put it on a shirt. That would be egregious.
I hate these people. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Look, that was 2016. That was different times. That was when we didn't.
He was doing a lot of drugs at the time. The opium epidemic was at its high.
I can't stand these political. They are fucking liars, man.
2016. You asked me like, the Clintons are rapists. They kill people. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's 2020, and like, yeah, okay, I know what you mean. All right.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, a lot of extra information has come forward, particularly about, say, the Clintons in the past 4 years.
No.
That a lot of people knew, but it wasn't as proven as it is now, especially since all the Epstein shit.
No.
I know it's a controversial opinion, but somebody had to say it.
I think the Clintons are here to help.
Yeah, definitely might have been one of those types that like looked at that in 2016 and were like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I think there were a lot of people that were like, what the fuck is he talking about? And now it's like, oh shit. Oh. God damn, I guess. Yeah. Oh.
It's been a long few years, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit changed maybe a little.
How do you think we're gonna look back on this? Not us personally, but like 50 years from now.
I was gonna say I'm not.
The legacy, like all this stuff.
I'll be damned if I'm talking about Jimmy Dore in 15 years.
No, I'm saying like 50 years. What do you think people are going to be saying about the Clintons, or people are going to be saying about Alex Jones, or
fucking nothing? There's going to be a new bunch of Clintons and Alex Joneses to talk about.
No, in a half a century, they'll all be in on the fucking joke. The same way we're all in on the joke that fucking the president that came after Kennedy is the one that got him got.
Yeah,
we're all in on it after a while. Once they're dead, it's fine.
Hey, you can't talk about how LBJ was the one that got Kennedy got, because according to Viable Ninja, that is a conspiracy theory, and you have not proven it. So you take that back, Tonka Show.
I didn't say it.
You
I'm just saying everybody's in on the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, it's just jokes. Don't hold us to any of this, guys. It's fine. Trust the government.
Yeah, it's fine. There's no way Kennedy was assassinated for anything weird. That's not how that went. That's like I don't know. I've always thought that was like the most widely accepted conspiracy that there was that Kennedy got. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
It pretty much is, to the point where you've had fucking two oh, it's not royal commissions. What do you guys call them?
Movies.
Yeah, 2 movies that have basically gone. Yeah, okay. Commissions. Yeah, it's like the Warren Commission. The Warren Commission was bullshit, but they've had 2 other commissions afterwards that have pretty much stated, without a fact, that there was a conspiracy to murder JFK. And then there was the information that has come out from the FBI. It detailed their involvement, even though it was heavily redacted.
Up until a couple months ago, I never really heard anybody say we won Vietnam, but
Yeah, I was there for that day.
That never happened.
I
Conversation will never happen.
I remember. How did it not happen? I was there.
I will curse people's fucking houses.
A pox be on your family.
Look over here, see what else is over here. Oh, Tonga says he was the only person on the left to defend Alex Jones. I bet Alex Jones didn't give a fuck for his defense. You spit in my face, I don't give a damn what you say in my favor or against it. I will beat your fucking ass. What the fuck? Like, the worst part about it, they're holding Alex Jones, like, back and shit, and then Jimmy Dore slides in, spits in a dude's face who's being held back.
You better defend him after that, if you don't want to get fucking sued.
It's just working a heel angle. It's fine. Not a big deal.
Shit. I don't know, man. The political commentators, they're a bit too slimy for your boy. You can think whatever you want to about it. It's just, they're a bit skeezy for me.
Yeah, just a bit.
I've had opinions too. Not really noteworthy for it, but I mean, I wouldn't say to trust me blindly.
Don't trust anybody blindly. But these people in particular are straight up grifters. They will lie. What is I don't know. Give me a pleasant take from Jimmy Dore. And if I agree with it, I'll be honest with you. Give me a take that I might agree with. Yeah, I think the guy's a scumbag, but if he had a good take, sure, I'll say I agree with it. Really don't like that guy, but
he was against what happened to Alex Jones. He was against censorship and different things like that.
Which thing that happened to Alex Jones?
When he got kicked off YouTube.
What is there to be against that? Alex Jones is fucked up, okay? He was saying shit that was getting people sued on his YouTube channel.
His take was that look, there was conspiracies all the time, and YouTube was heavy into going into against conspiracies at the time. But like, okay, at one time, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, people that said that wasn't really a thing, it was a conspiracy. People that said like Epstein is a pedophile, that used to be a conspiracy. If you start just saying like we can't have conspiracies on YouTube, then it starts becoming, well, we're just gonna have like the media.
Is that the
As
take
far
they
as-
went with? Is that they can't have conspiracies on YouTube? Because I thought it had a lot more to do with him getting everybody and their mother sued.
That was probably a big part of it. But they were going after conspiracy channels. That's something they've done lately. I don't know to what level they seem like they had like their targets they're going after at different points in time. Yeah, I know they did sort of like say they're cracking down on conspiracies, which again, like there's times where that's just all right. You're getting rid of a bunch of nuts that are saying crazy things, and then sometimes you're just silencing the only person that's telling the truth. So, I don't know. It's hard to really evaluate that, I guess. When you throw that all into like a big bowl, you have to kind of like look at what they're trying to do with this conspiracy and like, I don't know.
You don't know.
There is probably a big difference between like talking about some of the things the Clintons have done or not done versus like, oh yeah, the thing that got Alex Jones and a lot of shit where he said, oh yeah, there's just people pretending that they shot up Sandy Hook. Like that was deep. That was like, I think most people would agree. That's something he probably shouldn't have done.
You think that was something he maybe shouldn't have done?
Probably not.
In hindsight,
Probably
maybe it
don't
was a
want
bad
somebody whose
idea.
family just died and like go like, yeah, that was just a Hollywood movie. Not a good idea.
Maybe a bad call. Fucking guy. I don't know. Do you? I don't. Have you seen any videos from Jimmy Dore? Do you still get him in the feed? Tell
Yeah,
you what's going on.
He had Tulsi Gabbard on a couple times. He stuck up for her when she what that thing she said about that. Well, when she voted present for the impeachment. Yeah, he was sticking up for that fact that she stood by her convictions rather than just going with, well, I'm on the left, so I'm supposed to vote like this. And she got a lot of heat, and he was one of the people that stuck up for it because of it.
I hate that it's like that. That's so cheap.
He's always been a Bernie guy, and he did criticize Bernie for rescinding his endorsement of Shank.
Bernie, what?
Bernie, he endorsed St. Hugert, or God, not. Everyone memes how bad everyone is at pronouncing it. Now I forget how to pronounce it because I've heard so many pronunciations. Is it Sank?
Cenk.
Jank or
Cenk.
Glorious.
the
Nobody
young
has
Turks
any idea how
guy.
to say his fucking name. Great.
That's
That's how you know you've made it in life.
because he's running for as a politician in some congressional district in California. I don't know which one, off the top of my head, but Bernie endorsed him, and then like 2 days later took back his endorsement because of some shit that came out. And
Bernie endorsed Gank,
yeah,
and then Bernie no endorsed Gank.
yeah.
What came out? Him denying the Armenian Holocaust?
No, this was about the fucking
Oh, that was cool.
shit those letters from. He has done that, but he's
Yes, he has done that! When he was in university, he wrote a paper denying the Armenian Holocaust. Don't say he never did that!
Here it goes. Here it goes.
Yeah,
Go
so he
ahead. Talk.
actually,
Have this one out. Do you
no,
have
but
time?
but he's actually gone back recently, even like a couple times this year. Said like, I believe that when I
this
was
year.
young and dumb, and I don't
This
believe
year.
that now.
You know why?
Yeah. He's done it a couple times over time, but he has to keep making that statement. It's the same with like he used to be really sexist, and that was what they went after him for, was this shit that he said back in 2000. And I don't think. The funny thing is, people went after Bernie because somebody in his campaign, like the person running his campaign, said some sexist shit and like was treating like a couple staff workers badly, and Jank, like he ended up like sticking up for him there, saying the media was trying to smear him, and then the second it happened to him, it's like, oh well, I can't be associated with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking shitty.
Jenk also
I-
stuck up for the right for people to pleasure animals.
That was a joke, I'd hope. God,
No, it
no,
was
that
not. I watched
that
it.
was really
I
fucking
watched
weird.
it with my own two eyes and ears.
Yeah, I've heard that. I tried to actually see it in context, but that's
He
I've
literally
just heard, like,
made the
clips of it,
argument
but-
that, hey, they're getting pleasure out of it, what's the problem?
Cannot endorse that, obviously.
So you're gonna remove your Cenk Yuga endorsement?
I can't endorse him saying that, but I don't think he really was saying that. I think it was like more edgy humor. It was a stupid thing to make a joke about.
Okay.
I don't know, man. He didn't seem like he was joking to me.
Okay, hold on, Akujin. All right, so you got to be clear with me here. We're making the call to give the man shit over something from. How old is this?
The animal thing was like, I can't remember what year it was. It was like 2012, I think.
It was
I tried finding the original actual video, but I couldn't.
It was early TYT, and I watched
Okay, well,
the
that's
video.
not quite 20 years ago.
I
Yeah, that
watched.
one's
I watched the video like fucking 2 or 3 weeks ago. I seen it on Twitter's.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen like people clipped parts of it. I wanted to actually see the full video, but like
I seen the full segment.
but yeah, like that obviously very cringy, very like, what the fuck were you even doing? I mean,
And we're talking about the legalized fucking animals segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was a joke. I don't know.
See, because when you hear that said out loud, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yes.
You'd have to hear it, I guess.
I don't know if he was joking or not. I wouldn't have wasted time saying it.
It was pretty convincing.
Sure.
I mean, I'd call him an idiot at the time he said it. If I was around, I'd call him that now. If, you know, whatever his reason for it, it was just. I think he was just trying to fuck with his co-host.
You think he was just trying to fuck with Anna?
Yeah, it's what it seemed like to me. But
I know that everybody hates this guy, and he says a lot of dumb shit. So I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe it isn't worth going after him on this one if he's just fucking around. But it just throw it on the pile of dumb shit he says because he's a fucking weirdo.
Maybe.
I guess you could really land on whatever side you want on that. I guess.
I don't want to.
Well, I've
stay away from that completely. That's probably the best.
I've seen the thing, and he's acting serious, but that doesn't mean that it's not what is it? Satire.
Okay, motherfucker, you tell me. What means he's doing it serious? Because
I don't know what was in his head at the time, so I don't know whether he really meant what he said. But he legitimately made an argument that it should be okay, because it's not harming the animal at all, and the animal arrives, as he put it. So obviously, it's also gaining pleasure from the thing.
There we go.
God
Somebody
damn.
linked. Devin did a video on that.
I bet.
So, yeah, it's just like about a month ago. He put out a video on that.
I mean,
It's fresh in everyone's mind.
if I remember, I'm pretty sure Devin and him go back a good couple years. I know he does videos on him. Like his group has a laugh at him pretty often.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's inescapable that he's going to make a video about that one.
I'll put it this way. I can like defiantly say like, all right, he has definitely spoke out and said, no, I don't believe, I'm not denying the Armenian genocide. It's not something that I believe anymore.
Yeah, but now he's fucking
But-
standing
but-
up for fucking animals. So does
But
it matter?
this thing, I'm just kind of like, yeah, make your own call on that.
Look, I can believe that he's just fucking around, but at the same time, stay away from my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be playing all day, but I ain't playing with you. You know, whatever.
He very much seems like the rabid leftist version of Alex Jones.
No, his nephew does. His nephew's fucking crazy.
He got a nephew?
Oh yeah.
His
He
nephew's
hired
like-
him.
What you mean? Oh yeah. What the fuck?
I mean, he's got him on the show.
His nephew says the craziest fucking shit.
His nephew is so bad that he tries to keep him away from the show. He
What did he
tries
say?
to like reduce his airtime.
Didn't he say something more recently like something like
Hasn't Hassan Piker gotten himself kicked off of YouTube?
I think he said something more recently like America deserved 9/11 or some shit like that.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that shit.
Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so his nephew's name is Hassan Piker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
Admitted
wacko.
Marxist, and apparently America deserved 9/11.
It is wild to hear Fowl say that somebody is a wacko. You don't get that from him often. But what makes him a wacko? Just the 9/11 stuff, all that?
Do you
Yeah,
need any more?
He's got
If that was the
interesting
one
everything.
thing, if that was the one thing that he said, is that not enough?
He's like pro Antifa.
Pro Antifa is.
Yeah, just like, oh well, they do violence. It doesn't matter. It's okay if they do it. So, what else has he come out and said lately? I know he's had like edgy, sexist things that he's said, but that's small compared to some of this shit.
Yeah, because he was only talking about sexist shit against women, not against animals. That was just small potatoes.
Mm. Wait. Is he the one that goes back and forth with Crowder all the time?
Probably.
Oh, Crowder's taken a lot of shots at Chenka and Piker. I don't know whether they go back and forth, but...
Oh. Hmm.
Oh, and yeah, Hassan, he was banned on Twitch, not YouTube.
Why was he on Twitch?
Because
Was
he could
doing
be
a
on...
politics show on Twitch?
He was probably on there because he could do that on his own.
Mm.
He could say what he wanted over there without being tempered by his cousin. Which didn't work out very well for him.
Do you think the Young Turks are gonna get kicked off of the YouTube thing soon?
No.
No.
Okay, because I know they had that deal, like kind of
Oh
an
yeah.
exclusive deal with a very
They
special deal with YouTube, but
they got a few
I don't
deals
know,
with a
man.
few different people.
Mm.
They got deals with YouTube. They got deals with Soros. They got deals with fucking Saudis. Was it the Saudis? They took money from one of those motherfuckers. Anyway.
When Al Jazeera,
No,
weren't they
no.
one of those? They were like in with AJ Plus for a minute, right? And I know that's Al Jazeera.
Yeah, Qatar. Qatari money.
Mm.
So yeah, they've gotten a lot of financial support from a few powerful people. I don't see them going anywhere. And
Didn't Jank have a show on TV for a minute?
Yeah, he was on MSNBC for a little while, but
Oh God,
he that didn't last very long.
why?
Uh, because he was pretty critical of Obama.
Really?
He says a lot of shit about Obama. He's never really stuck up for him. That's one of the things that I actually did like about them is they were willing to call out people on the left.
But that's why they got rid of him.
Uh, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
He wasn't really like saying the things that the network's supposed to say about the left. You have a formula supposed to.
So how long did it last?
about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long, but it was a matter of months.
Mm. Well, that kind of sucks. I think he would have fit in way better on TV. Probably created enough of a fucking vacuum around here to where something else could have jumped in. But of course. History
Yeah.
had to go the other way.
That was the hope, and like even MSNBC, I think they were a lot different back then. Yeah, this whole thing with Russia and all this shit, I, I don't know. That just didn't feel like that was who they were back in 2008, 2009. They seemed like they really kind of went in this direction where like they're the anti-Trump direction, basically. Very like toe the line, you know, speak about what you're supposed to speak about type shit.
Seems kind of a lost cause to bitch about Trump still.
Yeah.
A
Like I don't
lot of
consider MSNBC worse than Fox. I just consider them both kind of hopeless
a
for
lot of people are
opposite
lost.
reasons.
Hmm?
You cut out.
Did I cut out or did Akujin cut out?
Akujin did.
Yeah, what did he say?
Oh, you said something about the whole Trump thing being a lost cause, and I said, yeah, well, there are a lot of lost people.
You ain't wrong. It's just disappointing. I don't know. You only get one or two brands of news anymore. It's like, I hate Trump, or Trump's pretty okay. And it's like, can I get some news that don't fucking care about Donald Trump 24/7, please? Thank you. Please. Hmm.
You could watch Australian news.
How kind is your news being to your prime minister right now? I don't think I got to ask you that.
I haven't seen it. I don't watch the news. I don't watch normal TV.
Oh.
But in the past few days, I have watched ABC Live a fair bit. Because it's all been coverage on the bushfires. So yeah, if you don't want to watch news about Trump, you can tune into ABC on YouTube and watch 24-hour bushfire coverage. It's Trump news, but of a different variety. It's more of a simulation of a country burning to the ground.
Instead of Orange Man bad, it's Orange Sky bad.
Yeah. Instead of a political dumpster fire, it's a country fire.
How soon do you think it's going to be over soon?
No.
No.
I think this thing's going to go on for at least another 2 months. It's going to be hard to get a hold of unless we get some severe weather changes. Get a lot of rain.
You don't see that happening soon.
Well, we can only hope.
Pete said some rainfall had finally started coming through down his way.
Yeah, there's been some here over the past 24 hours too.
Do you think that's a trend that can keep up and maybe help you out?
If it keeps up. I don't know. Maybe we need to make a few sacrifices to Thor and Freya. I can think of one person to sacrifice.
Who?
Scott Morrison.
Oh. This is a weird question. But, I mean, you're somebody who's down there and it's like legit happening to and around and about you right now. What would you say if someone told you you got to sit down and talk to this guy? What would you talk to him about? What would you ask him? What is the one question you would have for this guy?
I don't think I would have any. Maybe why haven't you stepped down? I mean, I'd have a lot of things to say. None of them would be nice, but you're asking questions like I want some sort of answer from him. There's nothing I want from him except to leave. Maybe I would ask him, what was so important that you caused these fires by diverting all this money from the rural fire service, which has, stopped tragedies like this happening for the past 20 years. But I don't think I'd get an honest answer, so what's the point in asking the question?
That's a fair point. I wanted to ask what people would want to ask him, and that seems about right. Why haven't you stepped down is the obvious one, but
I mean, he's addressed
why did
that,
you
but
move
there's
the
no
money?
good answer he can give. He fucked up. That's about the truth of it.
Well, had he not left the country, it feels like it would have been a lot different of a scenario we're in, right? No?
No.
Am I the only one who thinks that?
No.
Him leaving seems like it made it a lot fucking worse.
It was salt in the wound. It was insult to injury. It really was. But yep. He was not well liked beforehand. Everybody recognizes that these fires are because of his policies and his decisions. And him going on vacation to Hawaii during it, that's just a fucking kick in the nuts while you're already on the ground. Maybe alright, there's another question. What the fuck? Why the fuck did you think it was a good idea to go to Hawaii? Why? Why you do that?
Non-refundable tickets. That's all I can think of.
Don't you think you could have sent a few firefighters in your place? Anything. Do you think maybe it would have been a better idea to, like, cancel them? Maybe taking that financial loss would have been better than the insult you showed to the country?
Maybe.
I think it was a greedy thing to do, but it was one of those. I think he had realized, all right, I'm at the point where there's nothing I can do right at this point.
Look, I know fucking George W. Bush liked to play a lot of golf, especially during the war. But this is a little bit different. I mean, this was like during the worst bushfires we've ever had that were directly a result of your policies during a 5-year drought, and you went to Hawaii during this national crisis. You went to another country.
You went to a fucking to a vacation spot.
Yeah, one of the most expensive and you know prestigious vacation spots in the world.
You know, going on vacation while your country burns is usually a metaphor. When somebody actually does it, what really can you do at that point? What can even be said?
People are gonna look at you sideways.
Take a longer vacation. A real long vacation.
Take a much longer vacation.
Yeah. We're gonna fucking tie you to the burnt stump of a tree and set you adrift in the ocean. Let us know when you reach Hawaii. Send us a postcard.
Terrible. Fucking terrible.
He is terrible.
How long have we managed to go today? Talking about your country burning, a possible war, and a couple of other things. How long did we go so far? Let
Oh,
me know.
about 3 hours and 17 minutes.
Okay. There.
It's been a long one.
That is a.
Well, not a long one, but yeah.
Well, it could be a long one now.
I mean, we've gotten a lot out of just 2 topics. There was a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Good bit. A good fucking bit. Do you, I don't know. God, I can't remember what it is. The game that you're playing.
The Witcher 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Were you?
I may
Go ahead.
end up playing that again later. Are
Okay.
you gonna do the wrestling thing later? Or you got shit to do?
I have a. I've got a political race game, and I was going to play through that. Probably on a very short mode because I'm not going to sit there forever playing a politics game.
You have a politics game?
I have a politics game, yeah.
You're not all politicked out? I mean, isn't this your yearly dose of politics in this
Yeah,
episode?
I've already had enough politics. Yeah, I'm going to go play a politic game. I'm like, I don't know, they're like, whenever this is over, I'll play a politic game. There.
Billy Senpai just asked me, is The Witcher fun? Absolutely. I recommend everyone play The Witcher 3. If you've never played it before, it is one of the hands down best games ever played. I recommend it to everyone.
He recommends it to everyone.
Yes. But yeah. So you'll be playing a politic game later. I'm gonna fuck off for a few hours. I may, if I come back, I'll end up playing The Witcher 3, and you'll probably be doing nothing, Fowl.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
He's grown. He does all kinds of
Sunday.
Okay, Fowl's going to church.
shit.
He's going to church to praise Joseph Smith.
Joseph, yeah.
Joseph?
Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
It's all good. You can go do that. I'll just play that fucking game. Like, whenever this ends, I'll just go ahead and start. So if you go from here to the Twitch page, then I will already be starting the thing. That'll fucking work for me. That way, fucking, if Akujin wakes up in a fucking haze in like an hour or whatever, I'll just fucking give all the fucking viewers to him on his fucking thing.
I'm gonna be going for a bit.
Good. But if you're not, I'll just give you all the people.
Oh, that's so nice. You give me all these people so they can then leave. So I can wave to them.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
nice.
put them on your channel so that you can wave at them as they all immediately turn around and walk right back out.
Yeah, that's that. See, you're a generous god.
Very, very. You gotta stay nice.
Alright guys, we'll head over to Tonka's Twitch to watch him play that shit, and we'll catch you later.